Uh, Thank you for providing this platform. Respected Luthra sir, Sen sir, senior advocates, Dr. Lokendra Malik, who's uh, fired to keep on running academic shows, does not want to end, that keeps us burning. Professor Deepa Dubey, whom we worked together in a book on bail published by ILI. I was lucky that I shared the book with Luthra sir in Cambridge publication and one LexisNexis publication, where in both cases Dr. Lokendra Malik is an editor. So I am really elated to be a part of this contemporary discussion on reform. Neha has correctly mentioned a few reports where reforms have been taken and proposals have been made. And that way, the first thing I would say that all reforms have three types of modes. One is the classical mode, and the classical mode is legislative mode. The legislature, the central legislature or state legislature, any of them can change law. And in India, criminal law and criminal procedure being in uh, concurrent list, both can change. Both can change. Second way of reform is the modern way, that is through judiciary, through judicial legislations, through judicial pronouncements. So many laws have been declared unconstitutional. Certain laws have been read into and read down. This is the another way of reform. Third is the customary ways, which is generally used in constitutional purposes and probably not in criminal law purpose. So the reform that we are discussing is generally for the purpose of first, that is the classical way of proposing reform, that is through legislature. Now, as rightly pointed out initially by the introducer, that is Madam Neha, we are very good in proposing reform, and that is one of the maybe defining feature for us, that we are open to reforms. Law Commission of India has last submitted in 2018 277th report on wrongful prosecution. First report was submitted on tortious liability in 1956. So in last 64 years, we have more than 4 reports every year. So we are very good in producing various reform proposals. Out of these proposals, many are on IPC, for example, 29th report, 42nd report, 156th report, and so on. Many are on CRPC. Then, besides Law Commission of India, we have state law commissions also. We have constitutional recognition to certain other commissions like Election Commission, SC/ST Commission. They also submit various reports. We have other statutory bodies like Women Commission, OBC Commission, Minority Commission. They also submit various reports on reforms. So we have a number of committees and commissions which keep on producing reforms, proposals for reform. So the one thing that the merit with India is that we have various reform proposals, but many of them, most of them have not been incorporated. Difficult to say, is it because they are just builders' debris, and therefore the parliament or the legislature did not incorporate it, or and only a few of them are rational edific? Very difficult to say. Now see, let me cite you very small illustration of custodial debt. In 1985, 113th report of the Law Commission suggested an amendment. In 1994 again, within 9 years, 152nd report of the Law Commission suggested reform. Then in 2003, 185th report of the Law Commission proposed another reform similar in nature, to incorporate 114B in the Evidence Act, that if there is a custodial death, the burden of proving will be on the part, but if there is a custodial violence, burden of proving will be on the part of the police officer. Otherwise also it is on the part of the police officer, but 114B made it quite clear that it has to be a presumption. We did not do it, And we are finding that even in 2020, there are a number of cases on custodial death. So we are good in reforms, but good in proposing reforms, but we are poor in not implementing those reforms. Now, Supreme Court also suggests various reforms, and for example, they produce various pronouncements also. Various laws are declared unconstitutional, and then states have also produced certain reforms. For example, Himachal Pradesh has amended section 304A of IPC, that is Rash and Negligent Act, and has provided life imprisonment. So this is one ideal that the state has made a reform because it is in concurrent list. Similarly, other states, the parliament is not doing, other states can do. So Neha just talked about 124A. Now 124 is much discussed. Regarding 124A, I would say that Parliament was not ready to reform due to one reason or other reason. What stopped various states to modify the law 124A? So my contention is that let us try to find what are the problems, bottlenecks, and can we begin with something which is very easy? Maybe other things legislature finds that no, it is very difficult. Let's begin with something very easy. For example, Supreme Court has declared certain laws as unconstitutional, and Parliament has not made any changes in that. For example, 303 of IPC is still there in the rule book. There is a complete eclipse because of Mithu Singh judgment. Why it has not been removed? So what happens when it is not removed? What is the problem? Problem is that in 2012, Mithu Singh judgment came in 1983, but in 2012, Rajasthan High Court noticed that there was a conviction under 303 just because it is in the provision provided. 66A of the IPC has been declared unconstitutional. Still in the rule book. A number of cases are being filed under 66A. So a good beginning can be that those cases which have been declared unconstitutional and Parliament feels or the legislature feels that no, the unconstitutionality is very good and we need not to interfere, they should immediately remove those provisions from the rule book, so that police officers who are not, maybe they are not at all LLB, sometimes the judicial officers who are very much burdened, they are aware of the exact position of law. I think many of them do not do it deliberately. It is just an oversight. They do not know what the law is. So the simplest, for example, 497 has been declared unconstitutional. So we should remove it from rule book. If Parliament feels that no, it has to go. Now let me come to two other provisions where some reading down provisions, reading into has been done. 377 has been partially declared unconstitutional. I won't be surprised if cases are still registered under 377. Why? Because rule book still contains 377 as an offense. A police who is very much burdened, the police is not expected to know whether that 377 has been partially declared unconstitutional. It is not a defense. But practically speaking, it is many times not. It is not understandable, not practical for the police to understand these all provisions. Till then, they remain in the rule book. So there can be a consensual act. It can be in private. It can be between adult. But 377 cases may be registered. Take for example 124A. Now Kedarnath Singh judgment said that it is constitutional, provided there is a tendency of violence or disorder. So what the Parliament or the legislature can do easily, that they can incorporate an explanation under 124A that the offences under 124A shall not be registered or shall not be registered unless there is some evidence of tendency of violence or disorder. So these are the things which can be easily done. for the purpose of reforms. This is one. Now, second point is, these are the Supreme Court judgments that can be a part of reforms without any ifs and buts. Second is, there are obiter dictas by the Supreme Court, and it takes long time, and human rights violations are there writ large. For example, take the case of Motiram, which was decided in 1978. It was on section 436 of CRPC, and the Supreme Court suggested in Motiram that make a provision for indigent person, that even indigent person who is booked under bailable offense is not able to provide bail or maybe surety, then he should be released. Poverty is no crime, and ultimately 436 is a bailable offense. It was suggested in 1978, and the Parliament incorporated it in 2005. A long wait of 27 years means it shows how insensitive the Parliament is sometimes, and this also compels the Supreme Court to become more and more active. Had this been the time these days, maybe Justice Chris Ayer might have read it into under 436. So this is one simplest way to begin reform without any hesitation. Now, second way to propose reform is to find various bills by private member of the various private member bill. Let me again begin with law of sedition, as ILI has produced a book on law of sedition. Section 124A, there are law commission reports. Besides law commission report, there are at least 6 private members bill which has been presented in the Parliament. Now, out of 6, only 1 suggests repeal, else rest of them suggest some reform. So a bill is already there. So we can think of the strengths and weaknesses of those bills. So these are something which are ready-made. We need not to make much effort for those purposes. The last bill I could locate was 2016 private member bill of Hussain Dalvi. And then various other bills are there. So what I suggest is that these private member bill can be presented as a means raw material for the purpose of reform, and let us discuss that, okay, these type of bills can be incorporated in the form of reform, for the purpose of reform. Next important point is that you take the case of Maharashtra Control of Organized Crimes Act 1999. Section 3 suggests that the punishment for organized crime. Original provision is whoever harbors or conceals or attempts to conceal through judicial decisions, intention word has been incorporated. It was done way back in maybe 10-15 years back, but the Parliament or the state legislature, in Makoka case it is the state legislature, in Delhi it is also applicable, it has not incorporated intention as an essential element under section 3. So if intention is not incorporated, if the case goes to a police officer, he will treat it as a strict liability offense. No, he will not look for intention. So can these type of judgment which already incorporate intention, mens rea, or maybe read down as it is done in sedition cases, may be incorporated through reform, which is, I think, is the easiest task to do, because in other cases there can be ifs and buts, there can be many other questions. Now finally, I would conclude that there are reforms which can take place in the laws, but then there are provisions which are already there under CRPC which are not being used. Take again the example of 124 capital A. FIR is registered on the drop of a hat. So what happens? Any case comes and then FIR is registered. We have a provision under section 108 of CRPC that deals with sedition, that deals with 153A, 153B, 292. So these provisions are there. This section 108 was incorporated. This is the concluding part of to focus that we have the laws, but we are not using it. So reform can be one way, changing law can be one way, but we have the laws that we are not using it, and section 108 of CRPC. When CRPC, Criminal Procedure Bill of 1898 was presented, the Select Committee, while incorporating 108 of CRPC, suggested that 124A cases are for serious purposes. For other non-serious purposes, less serious purposes, we have to use 108 of CRPC. Let me, please allow me to quote from what the Select Committee in 1898 suggested. We are bound to check such obnoxious conduct, the obnoxious conduct under 124A. But as a rule, the persons who are guilty of it are small and insignificant individuals. In many such cases, 153A, 153B, 292, 295A, they are persons who may be young, have suddenly reacted. So they are not serious persons, the serious violator. The bill suggests, that the Select Committee suggests that they may do enormous mischief among uneducated, foolish and ignorant people, but in themselves they are deserving of very little notice. It is observed to deal with them as an elaborate state prosecution. No elaborate state prosecution is required under 124A, 153A, 153B and other sections for the purpose of some sudden maybe reaction, some sudden expression. We think in most cases no prosecution at all will be required. This is 1898 Select Committee report. It will be sufficient to give them an effective warning to discontinue their evil practices. So I unquote now. So the point is, the whole point is that the reforms can take two ways. One, that we can keep on changing try to keep on changing laws by suggesting new reforms, and already the reforms are suggested. Let us also focus on those. Second, we have provisions, enough provisions like 108 of CRPC, like 107, like other provisions. We need to incorporate those provisions where no legislative reform is required. What is required is that we need to lay emphasis. Our case 108 was not used. Why in Arnav Goswami case 108 was not used? I conclude this, thanking you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.